rauchen Zigarren. Und lachen und scherzen und trinken und fichten. Das ist life. How's it going, everybody? Today, I'm gonna be discussing how Freya, the goddess Freya's presence feels like to me, from my experience, to me in particular, okay? Everybody might have different experiences, but this is my experience, okay? If I had a child, and I taught that child just how to meditate, I didn't teach that child anything about gods, goddesses, anything about the divinity in particular. I just taught them how to meditate and sort of commune with divinity. I would say, hey, contact Freya, right? And you don't need to know the backstory. Like, they wouldn't know the backstory, they wouldn't know anything about this particular goddess, and they would tell you the same thing I'm going to tell you now, probably, okay? And that's, Freya is a very interesting presence, you know? To me, it's like the girlfriend I never had but always wished I had, you know? It's like a girl that pulls you out of bed and says, come on, we got things to accomplish, we got goals to conquer, you know, you gotta make yourself better. Every single day you gotta make yourself better, you know? And in that path, and in that way, you shall reach the things you want, and you shall reach that happiness in your life, you know? And you could say, oh, a lot of real women in, you know, reality, so to speak, are like that. You know, you can find a real girl that'll do that for you. But here's where it differs, okay? Like, a lot of girls want you to, like, do all that stuff. They'll pull you out of bed and say, okay, let's do this, let's do that, because they want you to improve yourself so they could improve their status too, so to speak. It's like they want you to improve yourself so you can get a better job, you can get more money, you can get more status, so in turn they get more money and better status and stuff like that, you know? And to me that's kind of an iffy topic, you know? Whereas the goddess Freya's presence to me is like, it's very selfless on her part, you know? It's like she's helping me because it was just random, you know. Freya is known for picking up dead comrades off the battleground and escorting them into Valhalla. But to me, it's just out of nowhere. You know, I was just kind of lost, just sitting around, not really into Norse stuff, really. Like, I had a general idea, but not too passionate or anything about it. And then out of nowhere, just Freya came into my head. Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And that felt like the best presence for me in that particular time. Okay? And just immediately, I felt like this calling, like a guidance, you know? And it felt so perfect for me to dedicate myself to Goddess Freya. Okay? It's like she called out to me. It's like she pulled me off of the ground and says, come on, you gotta do stuff. You wanna be happy in life, there's a lot of things you gotta do. There's a path you gotta follow, there's obstacles you have to crush, and we're gonna do it. And we're gonna do it together, you know. It's not like an overtly loving feeling, like, it's not like, you know how some Christians and Catholics say they pray to Mother Mary and they're like, oh, I feel bliss and I feel love, and it's not like a romantic lovey-dovey feeling at all. It is blissful, yes, but it's not, it doesn't feel false, you know. It's not it's not drenched in lust and romance and love. It's love from the purest aspect of love. It's love just to love. There's really no romance, there's really no lust, there's nothing like, there's none of those feelings for me. So it's a very interesting experience, guys. So if you're interested, if you're kind of lost, I'm not one to say anything because usually these things happen by themselves, Um, you'll feel what is right for you in particular. But if you're wondering, if you're kind of you're looking for guidance, you're looking for assistance, you have to kind of just sit down and just commune. And it's different for everybody. Some people might get Celtic gods and goddesses contacting them. Some people might have Egyptian gods or goddesses contacting them. And it's what feels right. Don't ever be discouraged. Don't ever be like, oh yeah, this is just my imagination, whatever. No, just whatever feels right to you. And I feel that it has a lot to do with bloodline and heritage. And a lot of people might disagree with me on this, but I don't give a damn. I feel that it's like this there's a stagnant force in everybody's sort of bloodline. And whatever stems from that, you'll feel a particular path according to your sort of bloodline, in my opinion. If you're from old European heritage, you'll probably feel more of the presences of Norse gods and goddesses, or Celtic, or just any European forces in particular. Things that your ancestors would have, ancient ancestors would have believed and practiced. Whereas somebody, that's like super white and hails from Europe might have some sort of ties to Egypt. They might have some Egyptian blood running through their veins in one way or another. It's kind of hard to track that stuff. So I can see how, they would have connections to Egyptian gods and goddesses, like Aleister Crowley. He communed with lots of Egyptian gods and goddesses. It's really up to you. I mean, you could try anything. You could contact and commune with any god or goddess, but I feel that there's specific pantheons and specific paths that call out to individuals. Like, sure, like me, I could work with Egyptian gods like Ra or Isis or whatever, but they don't really resonate with me. I could commune with them, I could whatever, but I won't feel that guidance. I won't feel that absolute powerful connection with them. And see, it didn't happen to me like spontaneously. Sure, if I would reach out to them, maybe somehow they could offer guidance, but to me, like, Freya came naturally. Like, she kind of came to me as opposed to me seeking her. And that's what makes it, ideal for me. So that's kind of what I'm trying to hint at people. Find out the forces that call out for you, instead of sort of calling out to specific forces and hoping that they accept you. Everybody's got to find their path sooner or later, if you're into stuff like this. And to me, Freya in particular has been a very helpful presence, and always will be. It's a lifelong bond. It's a dedication. I dedicate myself to Freya, and she's like my matron, basically. And a lot of people say you have to have a matron and a patron, or you don't have to have a matron and you don't have to have a patron, whatever. I don't really feel pulled towards male gods or entities, so to speak, so strongly. You want to know why? Because I'm a man myself. I know what it's like. I know that fire and that rage that pumps through my veins. I know what it's like to be a man. So I don't really need the assistance of another man. I would it's like you could have a big brother figure or a guiding father figure type of thing, sure, but I don't really feel connected too much to that, Because that's the same thing in reality. It's like, I don't really look up to any sort of specific males in society. I just do my own thing. I'm a man and I'm accomplishing my own goals, and it's like, I have certain inspirations, sure, but it's not like, I'm not really drawn too much to that stuff, It's like a balancing of the divine masculinity and the divine femininity. I already have the masculinity within myself, so that's not really needed towards me. Needed for me. So I gravitate more towards the feminine aspects, the feminine divinity, because I feel that is a better guiding force to me. And what I like about Freya is it's a very powerful force, It's not like, like Mother Mary. I get back to Mother Mary. It's not like, oh, you have to go on a pilgrimage and help the starving and help the poor and, be like Mother Teresa or something. It's not like that. To me, Freya's more like, you gotta be a warrior, and fight and conquer goals, Whereas some females, if you're a female watching this, you may be drawn towards more masculine entities and masculine gods, and to me that makes absolute sense. There's a lot of females that are drawn to Freya as well, because they want to be, that's the sort of divinity, the feminine divinity that they see best, that they want to accomplish. They want to be like Freya, That's why they call for Freya's guidance and Freya's assistance and stuff like that. I could see that too, but I feel that a lot of females are drawn to more masculine and male entities, That's about all, people. I hope you found that useful. So if you're kind of confused, just like I said, go with whatever calls out to you. If it feels right, if it feels perfect, then go with that. On the other hand, a lot of people, they don't have particular goddesses or gods calling out to them. They have to search themselves. So that's a little bit tricky too. But on the other hand, I wasn't necessarily searching. I was just kind of meddling and dabbling for years and years and years and years, waiting for some sort of calling and some sort of thing that just felt absolutely right. And I found it. Eventually it came to me. Instead of me, when I finally stopped looking for it, I said, fuck this. I give up on all this bullshit, Fuck it. When I finally gave up on it, that's when I heard the calling from Freya, And maybe that's what you need to do. You need to kind of stop worrying about it, put it on the back burner for a little bit, and maybe you'll see what happens. Peace out, everybody.